Hey,
Hey Jeff,
how's it going?
how you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Well, what you got for us today?
Well, today we got some big news on VA loans, and as you guys know, here in Columbia, South Carolina, we have this really big military base here called Fort Jackson. We also have an Air Force base nearby and some really cool things, very heavily military based. So VA loans are a big part of our business. And I just got this bulletin last week, which is fantastic, effective May 1st. They've lessened some of the requirements to get a VA loan, which is fantastic. The reason that's important, in years past, it has been very difficult times to get a VA loan through the process. One of the things they do is they require an appraiser to go out who's a VA appraiser / inspector, and he has a list of things he has to check on. What that does is complicate the process. A lot of times the VA requires repairs to be made that aren't very significant, but they are required to be made to get the loan. That puts additional hardships on both the buyer and the seller. Sometimes the buyer doesn't even want the repairs to be done. He'd rather have a lower price, but it's not even an option. So what they've done, the really big one here, is peeling paint on homes built after 1978 or after should be seen as cosmetic, which means they are no longer going to be required to fix that. And I've got a story I'll tell you later on if you want to hear it about that, Susan. That's the really big one, though, is like chipped and peeling paint on windowsills, scuttle doors, porch railings, things like that. No longer has to be done, and that's a really big deal. Also, non-vented heaters and fireplaces no longer need the oxygen depletion sensor certification done. That's a minor piece, but not as big. And then no more radon test certificates are required. Those are minor picky things. And then the final thing is sheds. Often they would pick on outbuildings like that, sheds and things like that. If they had chip peeling paint and weren't in great condition, they would be required to be fixed up too. So it's great we no longer have to do that, and it's going to make the process a heck of a lot smoother, better for both the buyer and seller versions of that when you're doing a VA loan. So if you're thinking about buying, selling, investing in the greater Columbia market, please give us a call. We are VA loan experts, and we've done a ton of them, and we would love to help you and talk to you more about that process.
Thanks, Jeff.
You got it?
Tell us about your story.
Oh, my story. Yeah, be happy to tell you about my story. So there was a time I was doing a VA loan a few years ago. Tell you how this comes into play and why it's no longer of a concern. So the VA appraiser comes out and says, all right, you're good to go. Or no, not you're good to go. Here's your home inspection and the repairs that are required to be made. So that day I had a painter go out and he said, you've got some chipped and peeling paint along a door frame. And I went and had the door frame repaired, scraped it, painted it, good to go, called him back same day, said go out and sign off on it, please, because we were trying to make a closing date, and it was getting very, very close. He comes out the following day, and he says, well, you have some more chipped and peeling paint on the handrails leading up to the house, so you got to repair that. I was like, oh, Lord. So I quickly got my painter to go out that same day, scrape paint, the chipped and peeling paint on the handrails. Called the VA appraiser. He comes back up the next day and says, all right, one more. You got chipped and peeling paint on the scuttle door underneath the house. 3 different times, and I'm like, all right, dude, I'm about to pick a fight, and was not very happy and said, do not give me one more phone call saying I've got chipped and peeling paint that you didn't call out and are coming back out to deal with. So that can be a pain in the butt. That is no longer going to be a problem. I'm so excited about that. So we can expedite these things much faster, much cheaper, because these were insignificant things, but it causes us a lot of drama. So that's my story, Susan. What you think?
I think we are in the greater Columbia, South Carolina area, and we
Yes.
would love to sell someone some real estate.
That's right, and we are VA experts. There's a lot of veterans here, and we love working with them. So, guys, give us a call. You know how to get in touch with us. The info's below.
Thanks, Jeff.
Bye.